How many of you have ever met someone who is directionally challenged? Do you know what I mean when I say that? Somebody who can't tell north from south or east from west and don't have any idea which direction they're going or how to get to somebody's place, especially if they're driving in the city, or, you get those directions and they say head west for 3 miles and then turn to the east and go right. And I'm like, okay, like those directions I can't do because I'm one of those people that are directionally challenged. And so my first husband and I used to joke all the time because I used to say, before he passed away, I used to say to him, you can't pass away, because if you pass away, I'm never going to be able to go anywhere. I'm going to be stuck in the house. That's all there is to it. I'm never going to be able to get to my destination. And I always get lost when I get there. I'll never be able to find my way home. I said, but if I find my way there, I might have to buy a house and just sell the one I've got because I'm never going to make it home. I'll just have to start over wherever it is that I land. And as much as we joked about that, there really was some truth to it. I wouldn't have had to sell. I would have found somebody else who'd come and find me. But the reality is I am very directionally challenged. And so with technology, I've been very grateful for GPS. I've been very, very grateful for Google Maps. And more than once, I feel I've been able to drive, and even sometimes gotten confused with that, but at the end of the day, I always get where I'm going and I'm able to make it home. And I have a confidence now that when I'm traveling, I'm going to get where I need to be, and then I'm going to be able to get home. So why all this talk about direction? Well, in Genesis chapter 2, verse 8, it says, and the Lord planted a garden. He planted an oasis in the east, in Eden. And Eden actually means delight and land of happiness. That's where he then put man, whom he had formed and created. So he put man there. He picked him up, I guess, and he put man in the Garden of Eden in the east. And I think it's interesting for us to know, so why the east? Well, we know from scripture in the many passages that we can look up in Ezekiel and, other places, that other messianic prophecies, that the east is the place of God's glory. And it is the place that we know that Jesus will return from. And so looking at that, I think it's important for us to understand that even from the very, very beginning, God was placing man in the space where he would be directly connected with or directly confronted with the glory of God. So Jewish people actually, when I was in Jerusalem, and I knew this before, but Jewish people are actually buried with their feet facing the east, and they're facing toward Jerusalem with their feet to the east. And that symbolizes that when the Messiah comes, they will rise up out of their graves and they're going to walk towards the holy city. They're going to walk toward the place that Jesus is coming, and they will meet him as he's coming into the city. We know that he's going to put his feet on the Mount of Olives. And we can be aware that because of all of this is some of the reasons why the Jewish people will bury themselves with their feet facing the east. And you'll find this with Messianic Jewish people. You'll find that with Christian people. Some of the Christian people there do it as well. But Orthodox Jewish people also do it. And so there's some ancient cemeteries there, and all of the people that are buried there are all facing the same direction. It's quite the sight to see. And this tradition, and it is a tradition, but it connects the prophecies of the Messiah's return from the east with the resurrection, and with bodies positioned to greet the coming event of his return. And so I think it's fairly fabulous for us to look at that and realize that, God planted a garden in the east of the land that he had just made and created. And then he made the man that he formed from the dust of the earth, and he placed him there. Now, I've done a lot of talking about the east, but I'm going to tell you I might not be good with my directions. I don't know what direction this is right out here. I couldn't tell you. What I know is this. I don't know how important that is. My GPS is handy and I can get where I need to go. But what's handier is that I can be in an atmosphere and I can sense the presence of the Lord. I can feel the shift in the spirit when the presence of the Lord enters into a space. When I'm in prayer, I can sense that moment, that second, when all of a sudden I know we've entered into a place of holiness, where all of a sudden I've entered into a place where I know that God is going to do something, where prayer has been answered, and I feel things shift and I feel things lift and I can hear things break. That, my friend, is more important than knowing which direction east is. And so I encourage you today, really encourage you today, get into a place of prayer, get into a place of worship, get into a relationship with the Lord, and continue working on your relationship so that you are aware of the shift in the atmosphere when the presence of the Lord is coming in, when he's shifting things and changing things and breaking things. That's the place to be. Who cares which direction north is? But we do need to know what the Lord is doing on the earth, and we need to be able to be aware of his presence. So be encouraged today. Get on your knees, get into the presence of the Lord, and begin to become aware of his presence everywhere that you are. Hear what he's doing, see what he's doing, feel what he's doing. Have a good day.